to
the Zak
and Buzz
review of Gladiators. Brotherly. Oh no, that's Kenny Everett.
What do you want?
That's Kenny Everett. Sorry, I've been wanting to do that ever since we got these.
What? There's the fingers.
Yeah, brotherly. No, forget it.
Okay.
Too old for you.
I think he's 2 sandwiches short.
Sure, I picked it.
Okay.
Right. So, yes, it's the second semi-finals.
Second semi-finals.
Yes.
The next episode is going to be the final. So
we'll get
that
to
is
that
going to be so exciting.
We'll talk about the end of this.
Okay.
Right? But
Okay.
first of all, who have we got for the ladies?
For the ladies, we have Xavier and Neela, obviously pretty good contenders. Probably the downside here is the fact that Neela was kind of like the wild card. She'd come through, not because she won, but because fastest time, basically.
Yeah. And is it Xavier? Yeah,
Xavier. You keep mixing it up with Kiva.
I keep saying Kiva. So Xavier.
Kiva's gone.
Yes.
Kiva is gone.
Xavier does like her spangles, doesn't she?
Spangles? Is that what we're going with?
Her diamonds and everything. Do you know... Okay, I know ladies like wearing... Some ladies like wearing makeup at the gym, and some people don't. Do you know, I'd be worried with all these things if I was a lady, that just in the scrum of playing a game, that one might come off and go me eyeball or something.
I would hope that they would have removed those before that point.
Well, I think they shared them all through the show.
But
anyway,
okay.
Yes, so that's our 2 ladies. Who do we have for the gents?
For the gents, we have Nathan
and
Mus. Now, this is very interesting.
It is interesting.
Lineup, because out of these two, we have like 2 of the fastest.
Well, you
people.
say that. You see, I remember way back in the qualifiers, and Mus won, and I said back then, in one of our reviews, I said he's going to be one to look out for. And I remember in the comments saying, other people coming up and saying, "Oh no, you know, there's far faster people than Mus."
Well,
and here we are. He's in the quarterfinal.
Yeah. So that's the thing.
Quarterfinal, semi-final. What am I talking about?
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about
Get your head in the game.
My head's in the game.
Hidden Gladiators.
So
that's what we're doing. Right. So with basically Nathan, he had the previous fastest running time.
I mean, he was full on.
Yeah, which is really cool. So at the beginning, they did with Barney and Bradders. They did do a bit of a, are you going to be able to like make up the time? Obviously, he's got like 9 seconds or something to make up from his time. So
yeah, it goes. But
we'll
anyway,
get to that.
We'll get to that. But anyway, so let's start off. Let's say what was the first event.
Duel.
One of my favourites.
Yes.
That's it.
A classic. It basically has to be there almost every time, to be fair.
I mean, come on. Especially when you get up to the semi-finals and I mean, are you going to leave the duel out the finals? No way.
No way.
No. So there you go. So, okay, who was up first?
Xavier was against Fire.
And that was a strong battle.
It was a strong battle.
Yeah, at one point, Fire looked like she was getting it walled.
But, however, against the odds,
yes,
Xavier did manage to stay out there.
She did. Got her 5 points.
5 points. And a similar instance with Comet, actually, and Anelia. Yeah. However, Anelia.
So you're doing it now.
Shut up.
so
Anelia, basically,
yeah, she's a little fighter, you know.
Walloped off, but it was a bit of a, like... Was it or wasn't it illegal? Because it felt like Comet was pushing.
Yeah.
It was the push. And it was deemed that Comet did push, and that is against the rules. So Battenberg, the guy who does the ruling and the whistling and all that
jazz. We like him. On my whistle.
On my whistle. On my Battenberg whistle.
Yes. Anyway, so they came out basically level pegging.
Level pegging, 5 points apiece because of the push.
Yeah, I think, again, that was a hard-fought battle between Comet and Anelia, because Comet isn't a big gladiator. She's a gymnast, but she's quite petite, really, isn't she?
Yeah.
So that was more sort of like on the level of that fight.
Yeah.
And then we have
if it was against Cyclone, it would be a bit more conclusive, I think.
Yeah, or Diamond, for that matter. Yeah. Or Athena.
Or Dynamite.
Or boom into the room, Dynamite. Yeah, that's it.
You like Dynamite?
Dynamite's fun.
You like all of them.
I just like them. Yeah, they're all great.
Okay, so for the men.
Yes.
The men. So obviously with Nathan.
Unfortunately. That was a big unfortunate. Yes.
It was against Phantom.
And I called it. I said, I bet it'll go up against Phantom, and he did.
Well,
and he got slam dunked.
Okay, so this is quite interesting because
How long was it? 2 seconds?
Not very fast at all. Well, it's very fast. That he got knocked off. But the thing on this is the fact that we did say in previous things, because Giant was obviously is out of the series now.
I mean, we do have his replacement. Hammer!
He was there before Giant left.
Yep.
But this was basically the chance
I think he's filling in for him.
For Bionic to kind of become the new king of Duel. However, in this particular instance, unfortunately, Bionic wasn't there. Like, in Duel this time. But it was Phantom and Steel. Steel. You can do it with some like sound. Welcome! This is my cage. It is made of steel.
Bless him. Yeah. Anyway, so poor old Nathan straight off.
Yeah. 0 points.
And then Mus went up there.
Mus, yes, and he managed to stay it.
He did it.
He stayed it. 5 points to Mus.
This was, I mean, obviously people have watched this by now that have seen our review, but this was the beginning of the downfall for Nathan, wasn't it? Really?
Yeah.
The first couple of games were really starting to chisel in there. But
it's proof that basically, when you're this far into the competition, you really have to kind of keep
that's it.
up.
If you can nail the Eliminator with the speed, that's great. But that's why it's so important to play well through the games, because the different games can really tip the balance.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's get on to the next event.
So talking about balance, we have Collision.
Our kind of
worst favourite one.
Worst favourite. Our favourite worst.
Favourite worst one?
I think
we don't like the ring
over
either.
the season, I've got to say, it's gotten better. Let me put it's gotten better for the Gladiators.
Yeah.
They seem to have mastered their play.
Because they're not allowed to kick.
They're not allowed to kick, but they have mastered this kind of tag team.
Yeah.
Apart from Bionic, who doesn't really need a tag team because he does really well on it generally, doesn't he? But who was on there?
Okay, so for the ladies, Dynamite, Diamond, Athena, and Fury.
Okay. And that was Xavier up first, wasn't it?
Xavier up first.
Okay. But that was the thing that they were being very tentative on the bridge.
She did get some points. You got 8 points. 8 points.
But there were moments there where the refs are shouting at them, "Keep moving!"
and stuff like that. Yeah. But then we had obviously Anila.
Who took her off, by the way? Did you make a note of that?
Oh, blimey! You had to ask me the really specific question, didn't you? Man, I can't remember one of them.
Okay.
One of them. But they both got walloped off. They didn't get to the end of the time.
Okay.
That was the
thing. Pointed to Anila again.
Anila got 4.
Okay.
She got 4 points. So scores on the doors for the ladies: 13 for Xavier and 9 for Anila.
Right, so Xavier's out in front at the moment, and then on the men, which Gladiators did we have on that one?
Legend.
Legend was with, wasn't he?
Viper.
Yes.
Steel and Apollo.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
Again, no Bionic.
Yeah, no Bionic again. So, but again, you kind of like they act as a good tag team. Some of these Gladiators,
Legend's pretty good. I mean,
Legend's good, although he does go for some of the kicks, some of the leg sort of wrapped around the neck and stuff. But he's good.
Yeah,
he does it. Yeah. And actually, so does Apollo. To be honest, I think he kind of does all right.
Captain Normal.
Oh, bless him.
No, that's mean. He's big.
He's a big boy.
He's just in proportion.
He's a big boy, and but it's just so normal looking, isn't it? It's just like he's normal. Bless him. We like you, Apollo. Don't worry.
We like all of you guys.
You're stars.
If we have a star in this program, then beat us up.
We're gonna have to watch this. Watch out, because if we get tickets and end up at the arena one day, you're gonna suddenly feel like
look for the bandana.
The breath on the back of the neck.
Look for the bandana. That's it.
Yeah.
Look for the beards, the ginger.
Anyway.
So I digress. So it was pretty like even Stevens on this particular game for the men.
Yep.
Nathan got 2, Mus got 2. They didn't last very long
at
all.
I was just trying to think. Was there a little bit of ducking and diving on their part? Wasn't one of them? Was it I can't remember which one had never been on it before. Somebody had not.
Nathan.
Nathan, that's right.
Nathan, that's why he didn't last.
Yeah, and unfortunately, again, it's the chiseling away of those points.
Well, that's the thing. Nathan, on the second event, at the end of the second event, 2 points.
Yeah.
That's all he's got at this point.
Yeah,
and Mus on 7.
exactly.
Not a big lead, but a.
But it was starting to become a progressive.
Progressively. So on to the next event. The Wall.
Okay, a kind of fast-paced favourite, really, isn't it?
Yeah, well, this is one of the classics, isn't it?
Yeah,
It really
I mean,
is
we do like a bit of climbing, and especially since we just got back from North Wales. That's why we're a little bit late with the review.
It's interesting to kind of like curtail that into.
Yeah, see, I just nipped that in there because we climbed up a mountain.
The thing is, I don't know out there, all the people in viewership land. I don't know who actually keeps a track of like the social media page and things where I make updates and things about stuff like that. But anyway, we're back.
We are back.
Hopefully, here to stay for at least a good while.
Yeah, good one. Anyway, so on the wall.
The Wall, yes. So it was Xavier against Diamond and Anila against Athena.
That's right, because...
Wow, that's a bit of a wordplay.
Yeah, Diamond walk up and stare down at Xavier, and then you had Athena just sort of like on level. You know?
That's quite funny. Basically, on this particular one, the contenders actually did pretty crap.
Yes, because they both got zapped.
Zaps. No winners here.
Diamond was straight up there. Grabbed a leg, worked her way up, got hold of the harness, and Athena basically did... I didn't see her get Neela, but when the camera changed, you can see she was hanging in the harness as well.
Yeah,
but what I will give Xavier, she
put up a fight.
I mean, yeah. When we say the weight of Diamond, we don't mean that in a derogatory way. She is a big Amazonian warrior, packing muscle, and muscle is dense. And she was hanging on for dear life on that wall, and literally to the point where Diamond, went on to a koala grip, legs round her, arms round her.
What was it that Bradley said that we'll have to call? We've got Diamond and Limpet.
Yeah, Limpet. Yes.
But Anila didn't really put up much of a fight on that one, so she kind of just fell off.
But Xavier, I take my hat off to her because she really did fight on that one.
So.
Onto the
scores on the doors.
Scores
on the doors.
Scores. Well, they didn't get anything.
No, they didn't get anything, so the scores remain the same, but it's Xavier 13 and Anila on 9 at the end of event number 3. So, for the men, we had Nathan against Apollo and Legend against Mus.
Good old Legend again.
So, these two were pretty fast on the wall. Pretty fast on the wall. Like...
I mean, let's face it, they both hit the top.
Heat and things. Yes, they both got to they both got to the top. Get my teeth in, and yeah, there was not really much like grabbing or anything because there was no. They were all fast.
The Gladiators really didn't have much chance.
It was a race as to who was going to get there first.
Exactly. Which was Mus. Yes. Yeah. Which meant that Mus pushed himself.
Yes, he got
into the future a little bit more.
Into the future. It's not time travel.
Yeah, he pushed himself into the future of the Eliminator. That's what I'm saying. Okay. The Eliminator is yet to come.
Okay.
And he's pushing his way forward.
You try to dig yourself out of this hole.
I am digging myself out of this. Okay. He pushed himself forward to the Eliminator.
Okay, so at the end of the third event for these two, Nathan was on 7, however Mus was on 17.
17! 10 points
10-point lead, so 5 seconds.
5 seconds. Ooh. And that's got to start getting into Nathan's
He only
head.
had to, in order to beat Nathan's time on the Eliminator, he only had to make up 9 seconds.
Yeah. And,
interesting.
And that's going to start...
That's 5 of them.
Yeah, and so that's going to start drilling into somebody, into your head if you're Nathan.
They both wanted to give 110%.
Yeah, unless you can phase it out.
It just wasn't Nathan's day.
As you feel like you're dropping behind, it does weigh on you, when it's such an important stage.
Yeah. So, on to the next event.
Powerball! One of our favourites.
Another classic. Always a good one to kind of round things up on. It's a good
they
team
got
player
some good,
event, isn't it?
hard-hitting tournaments over this series, haven't they? On Powerball.
So on Powerball, we had Saber, Fire, and Electro against Xavier.
And Anila. And the Gladiators performed well, didn't they?
They did. They are continually bashing and crashing people over.
I mean, they were really slam dunking.
And unfortunately, this is kind of the bit of drama that has occurred now subsequent to this actual episode. It was the fact that for Xavier, she did seem to sustain a bit of an injury here.
That's it. Well, she landed heavily, and that was her leg.
It was her leg, yeah, and you could see it for the rest of the
And
program.
I suppose this is the thing, Gladiators, TV show, Saturday night. Yeah, all the pomp and ceremony and all the glittery costumes and everything. And people who don't watch Gladiators or don't really know much about Gladiators can sort of knock it. But these guys, go in there and they are, you see the sweat streaming off them, and it's so physical. And yes, they get injuries. Now, how many other programs on TV
you see
people pushing themselves so hard and then actually having injuries? You don't. But it is the name of the game. So this isn't messing about. This isn't pussyfooting. Yeah, you got all the glam, you got all the the pageantry of the show. Yeah. But at the heart of it, it's a bloody hard challenge.
Yeah. So this is actually quite interesting because I haven't really discussed to you about this. We've seen quite a lot of people get injured in Powerball.
Yep.
Do you reckon that's going to affect its appearances in the future?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't. I honestly don't think it is. I don't think
because people keep getting injured in it.
I don't think. Yeah, I know, but people used to get injured on
everything.
Pyramid. People used to get
poleaxe.
Poleaxe. It is. It is the name of the game, and you and I, come on, we've been in the TV and film industry for years, doing loads of different action jobs and things. And you left your sign on the dotted line. You know what you're going into. But you know what you're going into. Like both being martial arts instructors. If you're going over the years, before you're a martial arts student and you're working your way up and you're doing tournament after tournament. You sign on the dotted line, you can go in there and you can get injured. Yeah. And that's what this is. These sports people, know that they're going into...
There is a risk.
There is a risk. You're going into basically do events which are not just, I'm running a relay race, I'm running 100 metres and I might trip up, I'm going on a hurdles and I might catch myself on a hurdle. This is going from... full body contact, to everything. So, for example, hang tough. You could be fine on hang tough, but you can land badly when you come off.
So, I mean, even on the edge, people have injured themselves.
Exactly. So it's the falls, it's the contact, and that's what makes the show.
Part of the fun.
I don't think you can
rule it out. You can do your best to kind of.
I think that's probably why we
ward
don't
against it, but.
I think that's probably why we don't get things like poleaxe and things like the pyramid, which were fantastic in the day.
I love pyramid.
Yeah, pyramid was great, but they did really come down, and it was the way they landed and hit each other that caused it. And I think that's how Jet got injured her back, which pretty much ended up finishing her career on that. But so you can manage it by maybe taking a particular game out. If you feel that it really is that high risk. Yeah. But something like Powerball, the only way you're going to tone that down is to try and say to the gladiators and things, don't hit them so hard.
Like in the celebrity special.
Yeah, but I think that would be too noticeable.
Yeah.
And I think the competitors know what they're going in for. The gladiators know what they're going in for, and that's it. That's what it is.
But, okay, basically, because of this injury, the game did continue. Xavier did kind of...
Yeah,
she was injured, but she was
She had a heart of a lion. Xavier, if you see this girl,
other people have
amazing.
dropped out at this point when they've been slightly injured.
Exactly. They played the tactical card. They said, okay, I've injured myself. I'm going to come out of this and save myself.
Or they just have to get a replacement. They say, no, I don't want to do this.
Yeah, I don't want to do it.
Which is a shame. But she stuck it. She stuck with it. But at this point... she only got 2 points, and Anila got 6. So Anila did get the upper hand in this particular event.
Which left the point score at.
So Xavier was on 15, and Anila was on 15. So this levelled it. Interesting. Very interesting.
And then we had the men.
Bionic, Phantom, Hammer, and I didn't write down the other one. Oh wait, no, there's only 3. There's only 3.
Count 3.
So I was looking at Gauntlet. But
that's it.
I got it right.
Okay.
Phantom, Bionic, and Hammer.
That's right, and I really went for it on this one.
Yep.
So by the end, Nathan was absolutely drenched.
Yeah, it was very interesting Muss's tactics in this particular event because he went for the kind of he's fast, so he went for the long distance run.
I don't blame him because he went back, going round.
He was going all the way round. This is kind of a tactic we haven't really seen too much of because he can really shift.
Trying to run across or dodge around, but he ended up coming back on himself. The thing is, he hadn't let go of the ball, so you can run and come back on yourself, and and
get
it
a different
worked.
angle,
and it was working. You know,
so. End of that, Nathan got 4 and Muss got 6, bringing the scores on the doors at the end of the event.
Pushing him through.
Nathan 11.
Pushing Muss through time forwards towards the climactic eliminator.
Are you done?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, so Nathan's on 11 and Muss was on 23.
That's right.
That's a big gap.
Did Hammer have something to say? Hammer was saying about, Boomy wasn't going to let him, he was hitting him hard. Or something like that. I know he said something on it.
They still got points.
They got points.
Okay, so there we go.
Gauntlet! Right,
a good one to finish on, I think.
It's a good slam dunking
a good one. Yeah, did you usually see Gauntlet kind of earlier or kind of in the middle? We don't usually see it towards the end.
And in the ladies' one, who did we have? Come on.
We had Xavier and Anila.
I know we had Xavier and Anila. Who were the Gladiators?
Electro, Fury, Dynamite, Saber, and Cyclone.
There you go, and,
You tried.
Yeah, that's right. And interestingly enough, they didn't switch.
No.
They didn't do their switching tactic on this one.
No.
So anyway, it was Xavier up first.
Yes. Xavier, by this point, it was very noticeable that she's limping and it's not going her way on the luck side of things. But she is resilient and decided to press through as best she could.
Yeah, and she did. And she got stuck to she got through, was it 4 zones?
She got 6 points.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that was three zones.
3 zones.
But it got stopped, didn't it?
Yeah.
And she got up, and wasn't Clattenburg asked her if she wanted to continue?
Yeah, I was like.
And she did. Bless her. She wanted to, but she didn't get her feet over the line. So again, it shows that she's got a heart of a lion, and she really did want it, but that injury was starting to tell the tale, wasn't it?
So, on to Anila.
Yep.
Very interesting regarding this, because there was again more controversy regarding this, because basically it got to the end and it was whether or not she got her feet over the line. What was deemed was the fact that she didn't get her feet over the line, so she only got 8 points instead of 10.
There you go. Which left the scores for them now.
So let's have a look. Xavier on 21 and Anila on 23.
So close, half second. There. Anyway, men, Nathan, come on, hit it.
So, Gaunt. So we had Legend, Bionic, Apollo, Viper, and Hammer.
Yes. Hammer!
There we go.
I was just recalling it in my head, because I think it's like Legend often gets... Legend was first in line, wasn't he? Or no, he was using that new pad.
The shield.
The shield, the hook, I don't know what you'd call it. It's like the U-shaped shield.
A pushy thing.
The capture shield, I don't know. That's all right. The Zoidberg.
No, the Zoidberg's more like the big kind of
paddy pads.
Paddy pads. We're so technical here.
Okay, well, that's the thing. Legend always gets moaned at for pinning, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He pins them with
release.
Anyway, so Nathan, he went for it.
Yeah, and he managed to get through.
He got through.
And unfortunately for Nathan, so did Muss.
Yes, so it didn't make any...
It didn't make any difference whatsoever, the fact that they both got 10 points.
And left the score lying at...
21 and 33.
Going into the eliminator with that gap. The Eliminator! This is it, the big decider. This is the end of the show. This is where everything counts.
Interesting.
Yes. because poor old Xavier is now going into it with that leg injury.
A point deficit and a leg injury.
Yeah, right, and I remember how this one went. I really do.
There was 1 second advantage to Anila.
Shh. I won't whistle loud because you tell me off for whistling.
Yeah, because it'll be too loud.
You will go on my first whistle.
Whistle.
And so anyway, off they shot. Boom.
Bing.
And straight away, as soon as they hit the ropes, Xavier got in front.
Yeah, very much against the odds.
I can't remember. Was it Anila who kind of swung away from the stand again? I can't remember.
The stand on
the rope.
Yeah, she was. That was basically the thing that caught her up. Was the rope. She couldn't quite get up as fast as
the thing
Xavier.
is, I don't think she got the upper body strength.
No,
she seems she's quite wiry.
She's one of those ones that's very tentative. Yeah. I feel that there's doesn't put her all into it when she says she does, kind of person.
Well, it doesn't come over.
It was like,
I'm sure she does.
Yeah, but it was like the boxer's daughter. She was very tentative on
Frank Bruno's daughter.
Almost everything.
Yeah, she did. Well, that was the one she didn't like the height and everything, things like that. But anyway, so Xavier caught her up pretty much straight.
Did not look back, basically.
And the only time it started to get close was when she came off the balance beam, hit the floor, saw that obvious leg go, and at that point, Anila was down the zip wire. Yeah. And literally and it's like, Xavier, you got to do this.
How many times at this point do people basically face plant on the Travelator?
And they really do because they bounced. Yeah. But Xavier, with a leg injury, she just took that mighty breath and she just went for it. And we were screaming at the TV.
Well,
and
you were.
Yeah, I get enthusiastic on this. You know how much effort these guys are putting in there, and she really did dig to go up that thing with a leg injury like that, and she got to the top in one hit. I mean, bam, bam, bam.
Congratulations. Well done, Xavier.
That's gold standard performance. And of course,
Test of your metal.
Yeah, and Anila came through, and unfortunately, they didn't say anything in the actual show.
No.
But obviously here we are a few days later, and we've already been seeing the social media and the photos coming up for this coming grand final.
Yeah.
And Anila is in it, so it's obvious that Xavier pulled out or had,
because of her
or
injuries.
had to be.
Xavier won the episode, but unfortunately Anila seems to have pipped it.
I don't know. I tell you, I mean, to be in the position of Xavier. You got an injury, but you've won. You've got that one and only chance to be in the final. That must be an absolute killer. To have that taken away. Somehow I couldn't see. I don't know what's gone down. Maybe maybe you can tell us. But I didn't think, because Xavier didn't. Every time Clattenburg said, "Can you continue?" and she's going, "Yes, yes."
Yes. And she made it.
She did it, and she won. I don't honestly think that lady has got it in her to actually give up.
No.
I reckon she was probably said, I'm afraid you can't continue.
Not on the medical grounds.
On the medical grounds. Yeah, that's probably it. On medical grounds, we can't let you compete. And
but
that must be an absolute killer.
On the opposite side of it, you also have Anila, which, quite frankly, she didn't win. She hasn't won any episodes yet. She's been the fastest runner-up. And is only in the final by sheer luck.
Yeah, sheer luck. Yeah, well,
so, is this going to be the case that Amanda is going to take it yet again?
Right, well, we'll get to that in a minute. We'll get to that in a minute.
Okay.
We'll get to that in a minute. Let's deal with the men.
Okay.
Let's deal with the men. After that epic eliminator with the ladies.
Okay, so regarding the men, obviously, Nathan was the previous record holder for doing the eliminator.
That's right.
Mus had it in his sights to basically break that record, win the episode, go to the grand final. Thanks to him, he had his points lead. It gave him 6 seconds head start.
Now I've got to say, going back in time instead of forwards in time, and back in time briefly to the gauntlet, when Nathan was at the front of that gauntlet. He was bouncing around. He was really bouncing around. You could tell at that point he was desperate to win it, to get that 10 points. Now we're back on the eliminator. He was the same. He was on that start. He knew he was behind, but he knew he was fast. You know, so this was everything to play for, wasn't it?
It was. It was very tense. Very tense.
Very, very tense.
And very quick.
and that whistle went, and you could it felt like a lifetime before the second whistle went.
Yeah.
But of course, and again, what happened? Musk got an absolute fantastic leap on the cargo net. And just went straight up, and Nathan actually went down on the leap, and you kind of felt so. It's like no,
but also at the same time, well done.
I know because it's really difficult. People have said to me over the weeks,
it's hard to take sides on these things.
Who's your favourite? I love all the contenders.
Love all the gladiators. Love all the presenters.
Everything has been great, and it's really hard to have a favourite. All you can do is kind of just say who you think may or may not
that's probably
do
a better way
well on their attributes. And I did say, as I've already mentioned, I felt Mus had a good chance. And that was what came through.
Yes, because not only did he win the episode and is through to the grand final, he has the new record.
He really did go for it.
57 seconds.
Did he beat 1 second, wasn't it? Or was it 2?
No,
it was 2.
Seconds.
It was 59 seconds,
2 seconds,
wasn't it?
yes.
Yeah, because the record was 59 seconds.
Wow.
So that means now we can talk about the final now.
Yeah, we can talk about the final.
So we have, if I'm right, it's Joe F.
That's Gymnastics Joe.
Yeah, Gymnastics Joe. So he'll be going against Mus. And then you got Amanda, is it?
Amanda.
Against
Anila.
Now,
those two, Amanda and Anila, have already gone against each other before, and Amanda came out on top.
This was interesting because the other thing I commented on is there was no, when the competitors jump on each other once they go through the paper burst and they hug and everything, none of that with these two.
No.
And it'd be interesting to see if the same happens in the final.
Yeah.
Because you got basically Amanda is kind of, for me, she reminds me a little bit of Eunice Hart. Everybody knows Eunice. We've said we've worked with Eunice on different movies.
Last film job I did, I worked with Eunice. I don't know what the film is because they never told me, but there you go.
Okay. Sidetrack on that one. But she reminds me of Eunice. She's a tough cookie, solid, and as you say, Anila hasn't actually won one yet. No. My prediction is that unless an injury occurs, which obviously happens, I think Amanda is pretty much a surefire winner on that one.
Yeah, I think she's got every reason to win.
She has got the body strength,
and she has obviously won every other time she's played it.
Yeah.
And against Anila before. So
I just feel,
unless she's having a bad day or something,
unless she like with Nathan in this particular episode, in this semi-final, I think that Amanda is pretty much a surefire winner, and we shall see.
We shall see.
Which just leaves a quick discussion about the men.
Yeah.
So I did say Mus, and Mus has gotten through the final. Yet also Gymnastics Joe.
Yeah.
Is so good himself, and we love you, Joe. Joe commented.
He did on one of the previous videos. That was really nice.
And of course, these guys are sitting at home knowing who's already won. So it's like,
it's an interesting one because in previous videos that we've done, I did say the fact that Mus, while he's fast, he did kind of lack some of the pushing power.
Yeah.
However, this episode has shown that he can play his own game. He can do it his way, and he can succeed in doing it his way.
I mean, his tactics on Powerball were flawless.
It was unique, and it worked for him.
But Gymnastics Joe also had his own unique attack because he was jumping over people and scoring.
Yeah, very true, very true.
But that is a high-risk strategy for injury, though.
Yeah.
I suppose it depends.
It's a tricky one.
It depends on what games. I mean,
it's harder to call on the men.
If it was something like, the thing is, if it was like Crash Course, which I think we've only seen that once. Haven't we? If it's something like that, I mean, you've got the weight of the steel cages to manipulate.
Are we going to see it?
I think that would be a game which would probably go more to Gymnastic Joe than to Mus. But if you were looking at, say,
I mean, if the Edge, Nathan's going to not Nathan, Joe's going to do really well on that.
Yeah, but then if you had what's the running one?
the running one. Unleash!
Unleash, that's it. Then Muss, you know.
Yeah, Rocket.
Rocket. So, you know.
That's a good name for a gladiator, actually.
Rocket.
Rocket.
Rocket. So we shall see, but I think the men's one is a real hard one to call.
It's a funny one because if I recall in the last series, it wasn't as clear cut like the finals as well because of injuries and so forth. Then this other wrestler guy ended up coming into it.
Oh yes, he just came out of the blue, wasn't it?
Kind of deal, and it was kind of like
that's right, because it was kind of like that was the thing in the last series. It was like, hang on a minute, this guy's been brought in, but surely it should be the next fastest competitor.
Yeah, not just a random guy.
Because if I was the next fastest competitor,
yeah,
I would have been pissed off.
Yeah.
If suddenly some random person who's never been in it before is brought in, why? Because it always goes to the next fastest competitor.
Yeah, it was. I think it was around the quarter semi-finals.
Thankfully, that hasn't happened in this.
No, the wrestler guy came in, but
not that we dislike the wrestler guy. I mean,
of course.
Good luck to him for being given the chance.
Well done, he did a great job.
But it just seemed a bit of a random way of doing it.
Yeah, I think we did comment that.
Yeah. So we shall see. So that's it. Let's round it up. I can't really call it on the men.
But we think Amanda.
But I definitely think Amanda's got
a strong chance of doing it.
Yeah. So we shall see on Saturday.
Yes.
The grand final. Hopefully we won't have any football matches or anything like that. It's going to push Gladiators out of the way.
Well, there is something else that's also coming on. Which is
there? Is there?
There is.
Is there?
And I'm going to tell you.
What is it?
Doctor Who.
Doctor Who. Which we love Doctor Who.
Well, we like reviewing Doctor Who now because it does seem to be.
Because what's going to happen is once we get the Gladiators final over, then we're into reviewing Doctor
Who again.
Which has been a bit of a controversial show of late too.
Of the recent last however many years, 5 years.
Dear. Don't accuse us of not being Doctor Who fans.
We have all the evidence that we are Doctor Who fans.
Right from
to
everything.
Disregardingly say that we are not Doctor Who fans
because we disagree with
some
of the opinions in
of other people
or storylines in the modern Doctor Who is unfair.
But let's consider that a bit of a snapshot of things to come.
Yes.
And end this video on the fact that Gladiators has been a smashing series thus far, and I can't wait for the final.
And they've obviously already got the adverts out for the competitors for season 3, which means we get a season 3.
Woo!
Yes.
Season 3.
Wait, we need to put on
the things.
The things. These one. Maybe we can get some better ones for next season.
Yeah.
Anyway, Gladiators.
Do you feel the power of the Gladiators? Do you have the will and the skill? Do you have the spree, the strength, the heart to be a winner? Do you eat your chicken dinner? Something about the floor. The Gladiators. That's staying in.
There you go. There we go. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. We love you all, Glad fans.
Please like and subscribe to this.
We love this
channel. We will see you in the next one.
You take care, guys. See you in the next one.